But I thought it was interesting that Grace is going to be like she had an Apocalypse outfit. Now, the reason that's interesting is because, you know, because by the way, this leak was not from Dusk. I want to make that very clear. But back in 2020, in the November Capcom data breach, there was that whole situation where there was a hacker that hacked into Capcom, leaked a bunch of files, and that's how we knew that RE4 remake was being worked out. We knew that Resident Evil Apocalypse, Resident Evil Outrage, Resident Evil Hunku, aka Resident Evil Hunk, was being worked on, and so that's how we knew all those games were happening. But of course, we didn't know what Apocalypse was. Right? We obviously knew that Capcom was making another Resident Evil, like a sequel, Resident Evil 9, but we didn't know what it was, right? So I found it interesting that Grace had the Apocalypse outfit, and there's also like an Apocalypse something else. I don't remember what the pre-order said, but there was like two things where Apocalypse was mentioned. So the interesting part here is that one would ascertain that Resident Evil 9 was the game that was being worked on in the Capcom data breach. Now, this is why we got so many freaking bad leaks for Resident Evil 4 Remake. It's because we knew that Resident Evil 4 Remake was actually going to be worked on thanks to the data breach. This was not like this is like a massive leak. It was a data breach. It's a little bit more complicated than just some random guy on the internet, right? RE4 Remake did have correct leaks where it was just a rando on the internet that said like stuff like, for example, the Wesker leak. That one was true. You know what I mean? The concept art for Resident Evil 4 Remake, I did cover that, and it did look incredibly suspicious. I was like, what the hell is this? But besides the point, everything else was completely wrong. Literally completely wrong. Now, what is that? 98% of the leaks were completely wrong. Just the data breach and that leak for Resident Evil 4 was the only one that was 100% true. So it doesn't matter, right? I mean, you're going to have, like, there are Resident Evil leaks that are true, but are they from Dusk? No, like literally no. Like Dusk, the only thing that he likes to do is if he likes to make educated guesses before, like, there's like Summer Games Fest 2024, he leaked that Resident Evil 9 was going to be announced. Obviously, it didn't happen. And then he kind of second-guessed himself for like a couple of hours before the show started, or I think a day. I don't remember. It's a while. He posts a lot. All right, just trust me. Like, it was something like he retracted it. And then the next year, he said the same thing. You know, and then Tokyo Game Show, he said Leon's going to be revealed. It didn't happen. And then he's like, you know what? I don't know what Capcom's doing. So there's always that contradiction. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't hate the guy. You know, I've said this, it doesn't matter, but we're just talking about leaks here. Have you pre-ordered RE9? No, that's a good question. No, I actually haven't pre-ordered RE9. I never pre-order games. And also, I'm gonna get it for free from Capcom. So shout out to Capcom. No, I don't pre-order nothing, dude. Like, especially for Capcom games. Literally, Capcom sends me games for free, and sometimes they give me like, you know, pre-access, like early access to like 2 weeks and stuff for being a Capcom creator. So there's no reason for me to pre-order it. I know some people are like, oh, you should pre-order for the collector's edition, but I'm like, I don't really want the collector's edition. I like, the only reason I have a Leon collector's edition and the poster in the back is because Capcom actually sent that to me. So shout out to Capcom, yo. No, Capcom's pretty goated. So I'm not saying that Capcom's gonna send me a RE9 collector's edition, though I hope they do. I hope they do. No, there's nothing. They haven't said. But you know what I mean? Like, if I get one, it's great. If I don't, like, whatever. I honestly don't care. I think collector's editions are really expensive, especially since last time. It was so hard for people to get the collector's edition also. By the way, if you guys want to watch the full stream, click this video right here. Anyways, thank you so much for watching.